Welcome back. Well, I have Robert here from Laguna Premier Realty. Well, thank you, Robert, for joining us. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine, and thank you for having me. It's great.
Absolutely. I see you're in your office, and it looks great, and I'm glad you're able to be in your office. And some of the things that we were talking about before is that many people are able to go to work as an essential worker. So explain to me how now real estate agents are now essential workers.
Yeah, when the first stay-at-home order came out from the governor, real estate was not listed as an essential business, and a lot of people said, "Wait a minute, we need to do our real estate transactions. We have stuff going on, and we really need to get our house sold. It's sitting there." So the Department of Homeland Security then, a couple of days later, listed real estate as an essential business and made the realtors come out and say that they can work then at this point.
Oh,
But
that's
at
great.
the same time, we have to do it under a very safe, the California Association of Realtors came with pretty strict guidelines and said, hey, here's how you social distance, here's how you do open houses, and here's how you do other functions as a real estate to do the business as well.
Okay. And so with the stay-at-home orders, if someone wanted to have, you can't really have open houses. So what is it you exactly do in that case?
Well, so the stay-at-home order was a California issued throughout. Local communities can have stricter, as we do here in Laguna Woods. So in Laguna Woods, we currently have a no show, no open house, and that's through the end of April. We don't know what's going to happen May 1st. So what we need to do is work around the strictest guidelines we have. We do real estate outside Laguna Woods where we still are showing with some guidelines, but in Laguna Woods, we're doing no showings currently per the village requirements. At that point, what we're doing is, there's still buyers. Buyers are out there, they're wanting to buy and they're wanting to see properties. So we're going through and hosting virtual open houses. We're doing video walkthroughs. We're doing fantastic pictures so people can see it. So people more than ever are going online and looking at homes to see what they want to, and it really qualifies the people. And as a side note, we are actually putting a lot of transactions in escrow, even into this no-show policy, meaning the buyers are buying, and so we're doing the transactions and we're making them work.
That's great. Thank goodness for the type of technology that we have today, allowing you to use your iPhones and all of the things that we can do online these days, because it really is so difficult. You can't go into the houses, so I totally get it. Let's talk about, what is actually happening in our community in terms of, selling a home, people wanting to buy a home. What's the activity looking like?
That's a good question. So we have some sellers who they're living in their home, they're sheltering in place, and they're protecting themselves. They're at high risk. So we talk with each one of our sellers. In that case, we're going to put the listing off probably to a potential time in the future. So we're going to do whatever wishes they want to do. We have some sellers who saying, wait a minute, I have to sell. I'm in contract. I've got another house. And then the vacant homes, they're not even here. They're just paying the HOA fees. They're paying different fees. At that point, they're saying, you know what, I'm okay with people showing the property if we're allowed to show it. So when the no-show is lifted, we can get people in there. The California Association of Realtors came out with a form called the Property Entry and Disclosure Statement. It's a PED form. And both the sellers and buyers sign this. They say that they're not showing any symptoms currently. They're saying that they're going to practice social distance. They're not going to touch anything. And we're having our sellers sign it each time too, because, they might sign it 1 week, they don't show symptoms. A week later, they may. So it's to protect both the buyer and seller saying, hey, let's sign this. And if there's anything that looks out of the ordinary, we're going to delay that showing. Okay. The other thing is we only allow one realtor and 2 buyers in the house at a time. We can have disposable masks, we can have gloves, again, no touching. The realtor can touch the stuff, and then the owners realize they need to clean up or really figure out where people have been to take their protections as they need as well.
Wow, I know. You have to go through the extra mile to get all this done. But, I guess it's good because we're protecting everyone involved. Even though it's a little bit of a hassle, at least we're protecting everyone. So that's good to know. Definitely.
Yeah, I think the hassle is worth it, again, because we're getting the essential business of real estate, the transactions done, and at the same time we're getting it so that the buyers and sellers can show it. Now, In Laguna Woods, we further complicate it because we have this no-show policy. So in that case, we're using technology. I've always thought we were a technology firm, but we're using technology to further our virtual open houses, to further our virtual showings. And so we're using technology. We're still holding open houses on the weekend. We're just doing it virtual. We'll hold a Zoom meeting in the open house, and buyers agents, they could be anywhere in the country. So buyer agents and their clients, we're saying we're holding this open, let's say from 2 to 4. They're calling in. We have our laptop, we have phones, and we're able to tour the house, open up cabinets, open up the refrigerator, show the view from the home. And so we're able to really show this house using a virtual tour because we're in the house and we're showing it that way. It really gets somebody who might have seen pictures and looked at the house. It gives them a chance to ask questions live with the agent about the house, and at the same time say, hey, I'm kind of concerned. What's the garage look like? The guys will always say, what's the garage look like if it has that? Or, you know, what do the closets look like and stuff like that. So we're able to do it with a virtual open house.
I know. And I mean, if you're not using an iPhone, you can always use an iPad, and that gives you a much broader view. So literally it's like you're there.
Right, right. No, we'll go in with a laptop, set that up as our main camera. We'll go in with iPhones, iPads, and we can keep that as the main camera and then walk around the house with the iPhone and iPad and show potential buyers this house. Then they're saying, hey, you know what? I can either cross that house off my list, or I'm going to put that on my list. As soon as we can show, we'll go in it. And of course, people are buying without looking at it. And you know, people have asked me, why would some people buy without looking at a house? Well, it's been done in the past. The military's done it all the time. And I look at senior citizens. A lot of people coming into Laguna Woods are coming in from other states. And so they have bought in Laguna Woods without looking at the houses in the past. And so this is no different. We're actually getting better at it, and we're looking at it. And so we're actually doing a lot of transactions in Laguna Woods as well.
Well, let's talk about some of the transactions. You know, what's actually happening in the real estate market in our community now?
Oh, sure. So a lot of the things we did in April were items we were in contract in March, and in March we were down. We were about down 10 or 20%, but we were still transacting. So we're actually closing those escrows, and we're closing them at a pretty good successful rate. I put up a chart. I put up a chart here for April. Month to date, and this is through Fridays. This is right off the MLS.
Okay.
And in Laguna Woods, so far we've closed. Laguna Premier Realty has closed $8 million of transactions in Laguna Woods, either on the buy or the listing side. If I look at the other brokerages, the next one is HomeSmart at 2.7, and then Century 21 at 2.4 and down. So we are definitely the most active real estate firm in Laguna Woods because we are putting out the technology, and we're making an effort saying, hey, we really need to service our clients, and we need to service both the buyers and sellers, and we're going to do what we have to keep the market going. I look at some of the stuff we're doing and saying, hey, we have to do this, and we have to be committed to this market. One other thing is, all the owners of Laguna Premier Realty, there's 4 owners, we all own in Laguna Woods. Where if I look at other brokerages, I don't think they do own in Laguna Woods. So we're actually part of the community as well. So This is where we specialize in, and this is what we work with. And so we're working what we need and using the technology we need to keep our transactions going for our clients.
Right. Well, congratulations. That's awesome that you're able to bring that to everybody and help them out during these times. Let's talk about where you think things might go from here. I mean, we really don't have any directives as to when the stay-at-home orders will be lifted from our governor. And then, of course, because of our community being an older population, they may be even longer than the general public, just given the nature of, you know, who they are and what kind of comorbidities they might have and so on and so forth. So what do you think is going to happen in the market going forward?
That's a good question, too. I think, again, our number one priority from our firm is, of course, to keep our clients safe and really use best practices. And you know, the information comes in and it changes all the time. So I'm constantly looking, you know, what we're doing on a federal level, the state level, and of course on the local level as well. And we're going to work with all the guidance that everyone's giving out and the best practices. So right now, if they list it, if they said, okay, everyone's back to work and we can show, again, we will use, social distancing, gloves, and really be careful on our showings and making sure everybody's aware of the risk and what's going on. So we're going to do that first. We're going to work with, Laguna Woods has the toughest requirements right now. They're the toughest piece. So we're working. The no show was, and no open houses. I think that's going to be a while before we actually allow open houses again. But the no show policy was until the end of April. I haven't heard anything right now, but if they do extend that, we will work with whatever Laguna Woods HOA says as well. We're going to work within those guidelines. So we're going to keep doing the tools and using what we have to help with the transactions. Again, we get buyers calling here all the time asking, hey, how do I show houses? Well,
Right.
we've got ways we can get in there.
Okay.
And then the last thing is the sellers. We have some sellers who say, you know what, I'm just not showing my house for the next 2 months. I don't need to. And we respect that. We can actually put the listing on hold so the days on market don't accumulate, or we can have it out there so that people can be looking at the houses and looking at the pictures and looking at the virtual tours. So I mentioned virtual open houses. Virtual tours work 24/7. They can always be attached to your listing,
Right.
the Matterports, the video and everything. So we're doing that. I noticed a lot of my agents and a lot of agents in Laguna Woods now are inquiring about these virtual tours. And I'm glad, because I think it's a great way to show real estate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I really do, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. It's awesome that you're able to provide all the things that you mentioned to our community, and you stay healthy out there and continue the good work.
Yeah, you too. And I enjoy watching you every day on the show. I get the YouTube feeds and I watch everything going on. So keep up the good work yourself. You're doing a great service to the community.
All right. Thank you so much. And you have a great day.
Okay, you too. Bye.
And we'll be right back after this.